Alright, so I've got the part flipped around now, and I've drilled and I've tapped for my half 13. I didn't film any of that because I kind of figured there was a chance it would be a fight, and sure enough, I wound up having to use two different taps, kind of alternating between the two to get to any reasonable depth. What I'm fixing to do right now is set this thing up, put a 60-degree included angle on this end so it will take my live center, so that once I get it out here I can get some additional support on the end. So that's what I'm going to try and do now. We'll see how this works out. Alright, I'm going to test fit this thing real quick. Hopefully that'll be enough right there. I would sure think so. Alright, I'm gonna run the tap in one more time to clear the burrs left over from that, and then I'm going to get this part hanging out of the chuck and supported with the live center, and I'll start setting up to, oh actually before I do that I need to start to get my angle set to start cutting the taper. So that will probably be the next thing I bring you guys back for. Okay, I'm sure you guys have seen this technique before, but right now I've got a Brown & Sharpe number 9 chucked up in this thing, and I'm going to run my compound back and forth until I match this taper. So, I can't remember exactly for sure, it's been a long time since I've done a Brown & Sharpe taper, but I'm just going to kind of wing it and see what happens here. I have to tighten this down a little bit more first. See if I can get some of the glare out of there for you. Let's try that. Alright, let's see what happens here. Alright, so I've got a little too sharp of an angle, it looks like. And I think I'm going to have to loosen up the gibs on the compound a little bit. Let's see here. Gaining, but not as badly as I was before. Okay, well, I think you guys kind of get the point, so I'm going to pause while I tinker with this for a little while. Alright, I think I've got it within a couple of thou, and quite frankly that is about as good as I can probably ask for, especially considering the fact that this is running out a little bit anyways, as is the normal for this lathe, so I think I'm going to live with that. Bottom line is I can bump the carriage and cock it one way or the other to compensate, so it's kind of irrelevant how close I get this because I can't hold the accuracy anyways. So now that I've got that reasonably set, I'm going to go ahead and pull the dial indicator out, change out my tailstock chuck for the live center, put the piece in, and start cutting the taper. Alright, here goes nothing. Let's start cutting some taper. Well, something just dawned on me. I could save myself a lot of hassle by running the carriage back and forth and getting the outside diameter of the maximum outside diameter turned down, and then go into this whole taper making process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the camera here in a second, and I'm going to measure what the max is on the spindle of the Cochrane Bly, because it's a little bit bigger than what the largest diameter of the collets are. Hang on just a second, I'm going to show you what I mean. So right here actually gets sucked up into the spindle on the Cochrane Bly a pretty fair amount, so I need to actually have a slightly larger diameter than this. I'm going to go measure that on the Cochrane Bly and find out what it is. And the other thing is, I'm going to probably turn this comparable to this, to where this section grips and this section is going to be turned down and not in contact with the spindle itself, so that there's less material to break the connection between the spindle and this cutter when it comes time to remove the thing, because it is a bit of a hassle. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to stop the video here and work on this, because it'll be a lot more efficient if I do it that way. And then I'll bring you guys back for a part 3, when I start to actually have something that looks, you know, more like an actual finished product. So I'll catch you guys later.